everyone, Joy here. I'm back with this week's Minimalist Home Tour. In this week's Minimalist Home Tour, I would love to talk about something one of my subscribers has asked me, and that is how I come about figuring out the way to maintain my home, the little quirks that I have. For instance, I use toilet paper for everything, anywhere from using it like a paper towel or even cleaning. So what I do is I would blow all the dirt into one corner of my apartment using a hairdryer, and then I'll pick up all the dirt that's in that corner with a toilet paper that I wet with water a little bit. And I have a lot of like mini quirks like that. How I have this bag hanging behind my bathroom door to put in clean laundry that needs to be folded, but I don't feel like folding yet. At least they're out of sight. So I'm able to maintain, oh, excuse me, my voice. 1 second. So I'm able to maintain kind of a clean aesthetic, so on and so forth. To answer that question in a short manner, a lot of the little quirks that I have around my apartment and home maintenance tips or whatever, these things, even fashion tips, these things are not something that I actively think through sitting down. It's more of a result of constant experimentation. So I guess one of a cliche phrase I could use is actions will give you answers, something like that. When it comes to learning in life and seeing results and getting things done, it's not really about like how well you plan, although some planning can help. A lot of times when we take action, then we can find answers in it. And I think I had a similar advice when it comes to picking your career. Even you might not know what it is that you want to do yet, but just sitting down and thinking about it is not likely going to give you the answers. Although I'm a big fan of reflection, taking a day off, checking in, thinking and stuff like that. The thinking session for me is a time where I sort of organize all the results and data that I discovered by taking action. Years before I decided to open a hair salon, when is it? I got my license in 2011, right? So years before then, I had already dreamed this dream, but it didn't seem feasible at the time. And then, I had a lot of mental blocks. So what I used to do is, believe it or not, even when I was an employee making very little amount of money, I would still look for these networking events that are meant for entrepreneurs and venture capitalists and stuff like that. And I would go there and I'll be the greatest oddball out because I wouldn't know anything about starting a business. And having a hair salon isn't really entrepreneurship, I feel like, because it's not really creating a new value or service. Although I could add new value, we can expand on that term later. But I was still very much interested in meeting people. Nothing much have come out of it. Some founders were very nice. They were giving me tips on how to build a website. Some people at that networking event just glossed over me, and then some people I think frankly hated me because I was overdressed for the occasion, because a lot of people in the entrepreneurial circle, got the hoodie and the I'm humble but not really kind of thing going on. But I dressed because I thought, it's gonna be like business networking events, I gotta look presentable, and they probably saw me and thought it's like, who's this bimbo in our space? But you know what I mean. So there were multiple mini steps that I have taken throughout my life that led me to this exact point. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and act like I've accomplished everything, which I have not. There's so many more things I want to do in my life. But I'm just saying, with everything in life, right? Whether it's starting your own business or going back to school or finding love, pursuing a new hobby, getting fit, everything has multiple different steps beforehand that looks different for every individual. For some people, they might not need that much pep talk to tackle a task, but a lot of people might need a lot of mental preparation, social support, so on and so forth. Do you know what I'm saying? For me personally, I need to take multiple little actions. You know what I mean? I like to experiment a little bit. And then, among the chaos, I'll find an answer. Funny thing is, I noticed this is kind of my style of doing anything, Let's say I want to read 10 books. I have to start multiple books at the same time, and then eventually one of them will call out to me more, and then I'll get deep into it and then finish it. Do you know what I mean? That's the way I approach things. Some people need to read a book from beginning to the end to start with. Some people can only read books if it's in a physical form. Some people can read books only in a setting of group discussion. Do you know what I mean? All of us have our own unique chemical makeups and experiences and just tendencies and character that makes us who we are. And then, it's absolutely true that all of us need different ways to get to our end goal or come up with a solution and so on and so forth. For me personally, even things like coming up with using only toilet paper, keep in mind I used to have other cleaning tools, like I don't know, one of those rags you use, one of those, if you've been watching my channel, I used to have different cleaning tools in my house. And then eventually I realized I just don't need that many different products to be able to clean my apartment. And coming up with hair dryer to blow dirt into one corner, that wasn't something that came to me out of nowhere because I was sitting down with a notebook. It's just one day I was like, why don't I just blow some dirt into one corner? A lot of hairdressers use hair dryer to blow the dirt away from the chairs after a haircut service or something like that. So I was like, why not use the same theory, or why not practice the same thing in my house? So experimentation is what got me to these results. I think what does matter at the end of the day is you do not need to know the answer right now, but if you do want to find the answers that you're looking for, whatever it is that you're tackling, whether it's home maintenance, finding love, getting education, starting a business, whatever, you're gonna want to have the intention. I think I mentioned this before. I said it does not matter how many items you own, but as long as you set the intention to practice minimalism and be a minimalist today, the intention is almost half the battle. Do you know what I mean? Because then you're able to rewire your brain to look for signs and clues, and any action you take is more intentional. Your brain is wired to look for ways to minimize things, and that's what I'm saying. A lot of work that we do to reach our goals, at least for me personally, again, I don't want to generalize, and if you relate to it, by all means use it. If not, that's fine too. But I feel like personally, a lot of the work that I do is internal work first, like the intention, and then I take action. And then, I tend to notice things more, because my goal always is to minimize, is to make sure I don't become a domestic servant to my own home or to anybody else's home, really. And then I'm always focused on things that matter to me. For instance, having impact in this world, and living the type of life that I want. And eventually I love to travel more. I would love to have freedom, a lot more freedom than I do now, a lot more independence. And that's always been this passion of mine, right? I've always seen myself becoming a successful artist one day, and I know what that looks like for me. Not in all the details, but I know how it feels like. I know generally what it is that I'm looking for when it comes to living my life in an authentic and meaningful way. And funny thing is, let's say my goal is to be completely free, completely independent, traveling the world. And in order to get to this grand big dream, the first step could look like using toilet paper to clean my apartment so that I don't have to worry about different cleaning tools that I'm getting, so that I'm not wasting any time maintaining the house. Again, I am not shaming anybody whose vision or dream is to have a well-curated home with more things in it. That's your vision. I'm just saying, once you figure out what it is that you want with your life, at least the general blueprint, then you can sort of live your life in a way with this focused direction. And any little silly thing like blow drying your hair someday could give you a clue as to, hey, what if I just use a blow dryer to blow dirt into one corner? Then I don't need to buy any more cleaning tools. This is a multifunctional tool, which means I have to do less maintenance around my house, which means I can get out of the house as fast as possible, which means I do not have to depend on other people to come clean my place. This means I don't have to invest any more money into buying more cleaning tools, which means I have more time and resources for myself. And then I could then take those time and resources to put towards the goal that actually matter to me, which is, again, living a life of impact and being as free as possible and being able to travel the world someday. Do you know what I mean? It's all related. Any small decisions that you make today could be investing towards your future. If you know where you're going, then all efforts that you make, all the decisions that you make, all the actions and mistakes that you make, all the experimentation can get you closer to the goal, no matter how slow. But if you don't know where you're going, if you don't have a right goalpost, it's like you're working super hard, you're moving super fast, but you're going nowhere, because that's not really where you want to go. Do you know what I mean? I think in the book that I was reading this last weekend, it was about like, building a business, stuff like that, because I've always been interested in that. But basically they were saying like, you could build an amazing product or whatever, you could work really hard, you could get a lot of investment, but if it's not really what the customers want, then you're kind of going nowhere, and you're just basically wasting resources. It's false productivity. Do you know what I mean? So it is very important to know where it is that you want to go. And I would argue this is a time where you can sort of reflect. But then again, finding out what you want with your life, like your ultimate goal, right? That also requires taking some action. For instance, when a child is born, we don't know their talents yet. That's why we encourage children to develop hobbies, to go outside, to make friends, to learn, to go to school, to mingle with other kids. And then they can discover what they're good at. For instance, I know I'm a pretty decent artist. I love to paint. I know I've sold a couple paintings in my life to friends mostly, or bosses or whatever. I would have never discovered that if I was never given a chance to attend an art class. Do you know what I mean? I think I would have found a creative outlet in other ways. But then, I wouldn't know that I'm a decent painter if I never tried it. Do you know what I'm saying? So all of us should sort of, not be afraid to experiment. And then within those actions, it will give you a clue. And maybe you think you want to be a painter and you struggle very hard to do the painting, but you realize maybe painting is not your path, because you cannot simply sell paintings. You no longer feel joy. Then you have this desire, but then it could take on a different form, and that's the moment where you decide to change plans. But then again, you don't know if you're good at something or not good at something unless you consistently try and experiment. And I'm not asking people to be delusional. If you know you're not a very good employee, if you know you don't have good work ethics in the traditional sense, like you never show up on time, you never submit your work on time, then that's not the right path for you. Then you have to find out something else that makes sense for you. If you think you're an entertainer but nobody's entertained no matter how hard you try, then you could change the medium, you could choose to work behind the scenes, so on and so forth. So what I'm saying is, oftentimes the answers lie behind actions, but not just any actions with intention and a goalpost. I hope this makes sense. I'm going to try and edit this intro into a very essence, but that's basically what I want to say for this week. So in this week's Minimalist Home Tour, I'll try and point out a couple things that I do, the little quirks of home maintenance, and I'll try and point out a couple reasons behind it. But just know at the core of it all is basically knowing where I want to go eventually with my life, knowing how I want to live my life. That's like a big guiding post. And then everything else is just experimentation, and then learning from it, and then reflecting, and then adjusting, or choosing to persevere in the same direction, so on and so forth. I hope this intro helps, and without further ado, let's start this week's Minimalist Home Tour. Hello everyone, let's start this week's Minimalist Home Tour. So I've just gotten home after work, and I'm gonna try and point out a couple things around my apartment. So of course I have used a blow dryer to blow all the dirt into this corner, and I use toilet paper to pick up the dirt. I've only come up with that cleaning technique when I was drying my hair, so it was just one of those moments, and I was like, why don't I just use hair dryer to clean my apartment? And it's just something that came to me just like that. And this is sort of my closet slash fridge area. So my subscribers already know I have off-season clothes that are in the suitcase over there, and then I have clean folded laundry in here. Some of it is hanging here, and the clean laundry that I don't feel like folding yet, I put into this little bag here. These aren't completely dry yet, and I have my drying rack out today because I don't know if you can hear, but the towel from work is being ran in the laundry machine, so I'm going to hang them up, and that's my daily routine usually. So I will do the work towels. You can hear the laundry machine now, it's beeping. So yeah, that's what I do. And I came up with the system just by a need, to be honest. I remember because I do laundry every day, and I don't always feel like folding laundry, but I still have to make room for wet laundry. So what I will do is, if these were dry, before I would normally put them in this basket along with folded clothes, but as you can imagine, when I mix folded and not folded clothes together, it will mess up the folded clothes and it just looks very messy. So what I instead started doing is I put them on the floor so that I'll be reminded to fold them. But I realized ultimately what happens is, instead of folding them, the pile of laundry would just stress me out visually and I would not get to them because it just seemed like a bigger task than it needs to be. So one day I just decided I'm going to go ahead and get actually initially I was gonna get another basket of clothes that need to be folded that I don't feel like folding, but I realized, why get a basket when I already have a perfectly fine bag? And that's exactly why I came up about that. And then of course I have a floor mat. The thing is, I used to have a towel to dry my feet, but I realized the towel doesn't really retain its shape, so it just looked like I have a dirty towel just scrunched up on the floor. So eventually I decided maybe I do need a foot mat. The reason why I have a foot towel slash mat is because I don't have any slippers in the bathroom. I don't need slippers in the bathroom because usually my feet's gonna get wet anyway, and since this is a wet Korean bathroom, I'll give you a tour in a second. So yeah, I decided, since I don't have slippers, I don't really like to dry my feet in the bathroom when they're wet, just directly from the floor, so I just dry them right on there. So that's what's going on. And of course over here, I used to have a hanger and they sort of broke apart because it was a very cheap $5 hanger. Initially I was gonna get some kind of a string to hang all my clothes, but I realized I already have this perfectly fine windowsill, so why don't I just hang clothes there and put them behind the fridge so it's not really too cluttered visually. And that's what I decided to do. I was like, I don't need a hanger when I have space to hang things. Yeah, so I kind of work with the place that I have, and this makes sense for me for now. And let's do a fridge tour, but before then, I have this yoga mat here for working out. Another good news is early September, so you can see some of my wallpaper is wet. I heard there was like a flood above me, which is like a boiler room. But they told me they're going to replace the wallpaper early next month, so that would be very exciting. Y'all could see how my place looks like by then. And these are like my shorts. The reason why my shorts are up here and my hat's up here is because this is used and I don't feel like putting worn clothing with the clean folded laundry, just in case this has some dirt on it. But I have my shorts up here and I am going to wear it a couple more times before I put it in the washer. That's why it's up here, because I only wear it, you know, at night whenever I would go to a convenience store or something like that. And of course I have this like extra charging thing. It should really be plugged in, but yeah. And this hair clip and these pins are actually from work. I put up my hair today, as you can see in the intro. Now I have this eye mask thing, and then here there's some seashells that I got from the vacation. I'm going to do some art and crafts with them later. Let's go into the fridge. So much food trash. I actually need to buy a trash bag for my food trash and regular trash. As you can see, I've not done that, so that's why they're there. It's a little gross, but when I freeze the food trash, it doesn't smell bad and the bugs don't get in the house. So that's why I have the system like that. And down here, of course, I got a bunch of groceries. I need to cook more. I got this big thing of kimchi. It was like a leftover from family vacation, so that was very nice. I got some veggies. And yeah, I got a zucchini down there, and I got a bunch of sauces, and that's kind of a simple way that I cook. And let's just seamlessly go into the bathroom. I put my shampoo and conditioner down here just so I can have a little bit more space up here. Yeah, and then I use, you know, a face cleanser to remove my makeup. I'm trying to be a little bit better at skincare. And I got this like mouth gargle thing. I'm using wet wipes. I've not had wet wipes in a while, but someone suggested recently these are good for, you know, when you do the bigger thing in the bathroom. And I think it's kind of true. I feel kind of sanitary. These, I didn't get these for myself, to be honest, but now that they're here, I have been using them up, and that's what's going on. And I have this mold killing spray right here, which reminds me I need to probably kill that black mold that's right over there. But yeah, I have 2 scrubbers, so these 2 I definitely do need. So I have 2 scrubbers. The smaller one is for top surfaces like a sink and stuff like that, and the big scrubber is for inside the toilet and on the floor and things like that. And then over here you can see I have my cream, sunscreen for the face, a regular sunscreen. I have a lot more skincare product just because I've come back from vacation, so I got the sunscreen for vacation, of course. And this soap was kind of given to me, and I don't really use soap. It's just here for now. I'm not dealing with it right now because it's not that important to me right now. But I have this body lotion and of course floss, toothbrush, toothpaste. I got these nose strips. It's a bit messy. So you can see this is a messy minimalist home tour. Even minimalists have to clean. I got this tweezer. This one is usually in my backpack, but they're out now. And then of course I have this face cream, and then I have 2 Vaselines. I should probably put this one in my backpack, which is exactly what I'm going to do. That's where it's from. And you know, I've got extra toilet paper. I have a bunch of toilet papers. If you see my previous videos, you'll know why. But yeah, and I have this extra toothbrush here that's new, and then I got the extra Q-tips. So my bathroom is a little bit messy and more crowded than it used to be, but that's what it is. And let's just go ahead and go to the kitchen. Before we go into the kitchen, just real quickly, of course, I've got a book. Usually I have a bunch of books at work, and then I'll bring 1 or 2 of them home and then read them. I still have that blank notebook that I haven't opened yet, which I need to get to it pretty soon. I have my backpack that I take to and from work, and then I've got this extra bag that's not really mine, but I'm borrowing it for now, whenever I'll take lunch to work or something like that. And this is my kitchen area. I have this umbrella. I used it today. That's usually in my backpack, so that's like my carry umbrella. And of course I have this umbrella. This also should be at work actually, but I brought it home from work one day and it's just been there a while. And then I've got my 3 pairs of shoes. They're all over the place. I usually wear sandals to work, and I have this really cute pinkish tan heels at work that I wear for work, so I'll change into those. And then of course I have all this trash. I didn't buy any trash bags, which I need to do, and I knew I forgot something today and I wasn't sure what it was. I almost dropped by a convenience store, but I didn't. Oh well, I can just get them tomorrow. But yes, to continue, of course there's my laundry, and my kitchen's a mess too. I haven't really done anything much of it, but I will still give you a tour. All of these, all the stuff that's on top would usually stay in this cabinet. So I keep everything from like my regular purses to like extra containers. These aren't mine. Again, I am essentially borrowing them or safekeeping them. But yeah, I got like a bunch of miscellaneous items, miscellaneous items, and then extra toilet paper. So my kitchen would look cleaner usually, but I just ended up with a bunch of toilet papers. So that's why it's so crowded. And I have like extra storage right here, and there's even more toilet paper, and then that empty bag over there, which I forgot I had that for now. I could actually use that as a trash can. Perfect. Thank you y'all for figuring it out for me. But yeah, so this is kind of like my disorganized chaos. And these are extra gloves that I use for washing dishes, which I need to do, but I do not feel like it. And down here is just my extra bag to take the towels and stuff to work. And this scrubber is actually from work, and I think it actually ended up with my towels by accident because they were like sitting under the towel, so I need to take them, so I'll put them right there. I've got my laundry detergent, of course, and then bulk killing spray, and then that little picnic mattress down there, which I still haven't thrown out. I don't know, I'm hoping for a picnic soon, but it's been rainy season, so I'm not sure. But yeah, that's basically what's going on in the kitchen. So as you can see, nothing too fancy, nothing too clever, just a couple of things I do here and there. Most of those things just, you know, happen to become my habit just because I got tired of certain ways of doing things. So, you know, my intention is always to make my life easier, to minimize as much as possible. And, you know, eventually there comes a point where there will be like certain level of discomfort. I'll experiment with it a little bit. And eventually I'll have an epiphany of like, oh, I should do this. And then it gets better and stuff like that. So without further ado, let's go to the outro. So that was my minimalist home tour. I hope y'all liked it. If you liked it, please like and subscribe. And I'll catch y'all next time with more video. Bye! Mwah.